What if you could turn every blog post you write into a clean, ready to send newsletter automatically? By the end of today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build an AI automation with make.com that does exactly that. No coding, no design skills, and no extra tools. Just drop in the link to your blog and boom, instant newsletter. So if you're tired of repurposing content manually, or you've been putting off email marketing because it's too much work, this will change the game for you. Let's hop right in and let's get started. I have a link to this blog article that I wrote about the pricing strategies that I use to scale my automation agency to $10,000 a month, and I want to turn this into a newsletter. I will leave a link up top if you actually want to check out the full video where I break this down step by step, but I want to take the content that's in here. I just basically want to take it and turn it into a newsletter. So we're going to use a couple tools to do that. First, we're going to use ChatGPT to help us structure the newsletter, and then we're going to use make.com to actually build out the automation that's just going to do all of this for us without us having to do anything. If you want to get access to the automation that we built today, along with all of my tools and resources, hop into the school community where I teach businesses and content creators all about AI automation and how to position themselves as an expert so they can make more money, attract premium clients, scale their systems, and build their brand. The community is filled with a whole bunch of tutorials and resource files from make.com and N8N that you can start using today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into ChatGPT to help us structure the newsletter. I'm just going to say you are an expert at creating newsletters. I have a blog article that I want to turn into a newsletter. So the audio cut out here, so I'm just re-recording this. But basically I just said, please create a simple, clean outline structure for the newsletter. And then I just go on to tell you that you don't always have to take the first thing that ChatGPT says. You can just have a conversation with it and improve the results over time. Like being able to still think critically for yourself, to actually read through everything that it says rather than just straight up copy and pasting and seeing if it makes sense and then adapting it for your needs or having a conversation with something like ChatGPT is actually the most beneficial thing that you can do. This is how you can use these tools to the fullest extent. So already looking at this, there are a couple things that I don't need, right? I don't need a header because I'm literally just trying to take the text. I do want a title. Intro paragraph is good. 2 to 3 sentence summary, state the core value for the reader. Optional brief personal note or context. Okay, great. A main content block into 2 to 4 digestible sections. I think 3 sections is probably right. Bold subheading, 2 to 3 sentence summary or insight. Bullets or numbered steps if relevant. Optional link to the full blog article at the end of each section. Okay, I think that might be helpful. Call out, quote blocks, highlight one strong insight. Read more CTA. This is really great. I think this is really helpful. Footer, name or brand. So I don't need the footer either. Although if you want to have it, I think we could probably hard code it in. I'm not going to do that today. So I think we can say remove the header and footer. I just need the title, brief intro paragraph, the main content of 3 blocks, the call out or quote, and the CTA. And I think maybe instead of a CTA, read full article or explore more insights. I don't know that I necessarily need I don't know that I necessarily want a CTA for this, but I think instead of the CTA, add one more key takeaway. I'm sort of thinking something if you learned one thing from this article today, right? Like if you learned one thing today. I'll just say et cetera. And I feel like sometimes by putting et cetera, actually, I feel like ChatGPT kind of I get what you mean, right? Okay, clear, compelling headline, 2 to 3 sentence summary, state what's at stake or why it matters, main content, call out, quote, cool, key takeaway, cool. So now we have the structure of our newsletter. I think this is really powerful because what we're going to do, we're actually going to end up turning this into a prompt for ChatGPT to convert the blog. So I like to bounce back and forth. We're ready to hop into Make and start actually building this automation. So we're inside of make.com. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to click create new scenario. I'm just going to name it right out the gate because I think that's always good. I'm just going to say blog to newsletter. Great. Love that. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to go with the set variable module, right? So I just typed in set and you can go ahead and search for this. This is actually kind of unnecessary, but it's just like a cleaner workflow that I like to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and call this URL. So basically this is the thing that's going to kick off your automation. And all it requires you to do is to copy the URL from the blog article or from the news source or literally pretty much wherever and just paste it in to the variable value. So every time you have a new blog article, you just come in and paste this in here. There are ways to do this and automate this even further by creating like a Google Sheet that has like a bunch of URLs and you can run through one of them every single day. We're just going to show you kind of the basic format today to get you to understand how these automation systems work, to understand the design system thinking, basically get you comfortable automating. So from here, we can just rename this if we want. We can just say like set URL so it's really clear what this does. And the next thing we need to do is we need to add an HTTP module. So I just typed in HTTP. I go to get a file, right? This is the most basic way you can use the HTTP module. And basically what we're going to do, we're just going to click URL and go ahead and click save. And so what this is doing is it's literally extracting all of the HTML text from the blog article itself. So if I just go ahead and click run once, and we come into here and we come into the data, you can see we have this extremely long HTML. And somewhere in here is the actual content of the article. But this is the first step. We actually need to pull in the article from the site itself. The next thing we can do is we can come in here and we can add a text parser. So I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to say HTML to text. It does exactly what it says it does. It converts the HTML to formatted text. Go ahead, click in here. And all I have to do is click this data field and go ahead and click save. So now if I run this one time, I'm just going to ignore this because we're going to build off this in a second. Great. And now if we come into this, we can come into text here and we can see we still have some of the stuff at the top of the site page. But if we scroll down here, now we can start seeing the actual information from the content itself, right? Mastering AI automation pricing, the 4 modules that work, right? You can see all the results-based pricing, like here's how you can do this, right? A link to the guide, like the retainer model that we talked about. So now we have mostly just the actual important text from the article. Super, super helpful, much cleaner. It's going to be a lot easier for ChatGPT to work with. So the next thing we want to do is we actually want to connect to ChatGPT itself. So I'm just going to go ahead and here, click plus. I'm going to say OpenAI. And what I'm going to do is I want to not do any of this. I want to create a completion. This is basically just like this. This is essentially the same thing as coming into ChatGPT and typing a question in here, right? I already have my API key all set up. If you haven't already done this, I'll leave a link up top to literally a 90-second video that shows you exactly how to get your API key from OpenAI. And all you have to do is just come in here, paste it in, and now you're connected and you can start chatting with ChatGPT right inside of make.com. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to model. I think I'm going to come down here and I'm going to use GPT 4.0. I still think it's a really great model to use. And I think this is okay for now. So there's a couple things we need to do. I know I'm just going to add 2 messages right out the gate because I'm going to need a user message. And this user message is literally going to be like, here's the article. I'm just going to do this, and I'm basically just going to put in the text from the text parser. That's our article content. But the other thing we need to do is actually create the system prompt. So I'm going to hop back into ChatGPT, and now I'm going to turn this newsletter outline into an actual prompt that we can use. So let's go ahead and say, I need to turn this outline into a system prompt for an AI agent. The agent's task is to take the content of a blog article and turn it into this newsletter. Why don't we say, and turn it into a newsletter following this outline. Cool. So ChatGPT has just gotten to work for us in a couple of seconds, and it just says, you are a content transformation agent. Your task is to take the content of a blog article and convert it into a concise, cleanly structured newsletter following the format below. Maintain clarity, brevity, and logical flow. Write in a direct, professional tone. Prioritize readability and essential insight. Then it just gives us the format down here. And let's just say, like, I want to make sure the agent prioritizes the most high impact and valuable content from the article. Right? Because we're just taking something that's a really like long blog article and we're just kind of compressing it into the short newsletter. And so I really just want to make sure that we're only getting the best pieces from it, right? So you can see here, eliminate filler, fluff, and repetition. Extract what matters most. Ideas that create clarity, spark action, or reframe thinking. Write in a direct professional tone, optimized for busy, intelligent readers. Let's just say like keep the tone casual but professional, like you're talking to a friend. This is one of my favorite like little prompt tricks that I use for ChatGPT, like, cause I want to just like sound like I'm talking to someone, right? Like I'm just explaining things really simply. So cool. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to copy and paste this and let's see how we do. So I'm going to go ahead, come in here, copy this, come into the system prompt here, and I'm just going to paste this in exactly as is. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to click save. So now we are basically ready to run this thing. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to run this once. It's getting the URL, it's downloading the HTML, it's parsing the text out to have a clean structure, and it's feeding this all into ChatGPT. And so now you can see that if we come into ChatGPT and we can just come into the result down here, and we scoot this over, we can see mastering AI automation, pricing strategies that win clients. And then it has this cool intro paragraph. Stop leaving money on the table with outdated pricing and proposal practices. Discover how automating both can transform your AI automation business into a profit engine. Whether you're just starting or looking to scale, these proven strategies will help you secure more clients and increase your revenue. Now, here's 3 key ideas, right? And maybe this is something we can prompt the system a little bit better to, we don't want it to say main content, right? But again, we can fix this a little bit. But this is really getting you the structure that you need. Pricing models that work, automated proposal generation, recurring revenue potential, and then here's the call out or quote. And so again, we can go back into this format a little bit more, and we can just say one key takeaway, or here's the call out, whatever. We actually don't even need the section header, right? The faster you can get them a proposal, the more likely they are to work with you and the more money you will make. This is true. Then here's the key takeaway. If you've learned one thing today, employing strategic pricing and automated proposals isn't just about efficiency, it's your path to a competitive edge, more consistent income, and positioning your business as a leader in AI automation. This is super, super powerful. You can run this for every single blog article that you want. You could store this in a database at the end, set this to run on a schedule. It's really up to you. And so again, if you want to get access to this automation that we built today, hop into the community. I will leave a link in the description, and check out this video up here where I show you exactly how to automate your LinkedIn using make.com. I'll see you over there.